I want to be a man. Good afternoon, y'all. Y'all listening to Roxanne Roxanne, and I'm your hostess, Roxanne. I got my partners in crime, 6 Starborn, E-Dogs, and White Chocolate, T3. Give it up, y'all.
What's going on?
Yo, before I get into like Roxanne's rant, you know, I want to actually just ask the room, how y'all doing today? What's good?
I'm feeling good. Weather's changing.
Doing good.
I like the new season. New Year's coming in.
Yes.
Life is good.
Life is good. Can't complain. What about y'all? Y'all good?
I'm
y'all good?
excellent.
Yeah.
Y'all want to be all quiet. What's good?
This is the premiere. This is the premiere.
We're feeling good. We're feeling good.
I'm
Good to
feeling
see
good
you.
too. Yo, check this out. I just have a little rant. First and foremost, I want to just go into that whole passive aggressive thing. You know, I have something in mind, but I want to really talk about passive aggressiveness. I got a little disturbing text about, you know, what I'm doing right now. And someone said to me, you know, after they cursed me out and told me that I'm not a great representation of a Jamaican and stuff like that. What? You know what I'm saying?
What?
At the end, they summarized it by telling me, you know, have a blessed day or stay blessed or something of that nature. Wow. I just want to know, like, yo, if you're going to spaz on somebody and curse them out, how do you put God in it? How do you say God bless you?
God bless you.
Or stay blessed or something of that sort? What's that about? Like, yo, is that like not crazy to y'all?
That's like when people say, yeah, like with all due respect, you know, I think you're a real piece of crap.
Yeah, and then they just go in for the jugular, just straight play you. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I received your message, sir. I won't make you famous today, but yeah, I'm gonna be blessed. Whole lot.
I'm a very much a passive aggressive hater. I hate passive aggressive behavior.
I do too.
And listen, I just came from the house of the Lord, and I have to deal with people like that in the congregation. And what you have to do is just kind of let your peace just stay with you. Peace be still. Peace be still.
Be still. Be still. Blessed and highly favored.
Ignorance is bliss. And once you know that, you know how to handle it.
Yes, it is. Well, I want to give y'all another rant, straight up Roxanne rant. I was on a train the other day, and you know, I'm on one side of the car, and I see this lady, like she's like bustling her way into the train, and she straight pushed this young boy. He looked like he was about 16 years old, very mannerful, very respectful, and so on and so forth. And I'm looking at him, I got 3 sons, and I'm like, yo, the way she pushed him, and he didn't even respond, he didn't do none of that. He just took, you know, he took that. And I'm like, lady, had he had like those tattooed teardrops in his face, would the dynamics have been the same? Would she have still pushed him? You know what I mean? Would she have even felt like she wanted to be on her thuggish shit? Oh, excuse me. My grandmother's listening. I want to give a shout out to my grandmother in Georgia right now. LaShawn, Kim, what's good? But you know, like, stuff like that, she's actually lucky he didn't beat her ass. You know what I'm saying? You got something for that?
I think so.
Yeah. Let's see what you got. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Leave these young kids alone. You gotta show them how to be respectful. Respect them because they're human beings as well. You know what I'm saying? Be nice. Grown ass people, be nice. But anywho, I wanna get into I want to get into my next thing. So, this next segment is going to be called Dear Roxanne.
Well, the Dear Roxy, are you like the Dear Abby of the hood now? Is that what it is?
Yeah, I'll be that. Dear Roxy. Yeah. Instead of Dear Abby, Dear Roxy. That's who I be.
Well, somebody actually called with a question for you.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, they call. I'm sorry. Sent in a question for you.
Yes.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's what they had to say. Dear Roxy, why do some black women only like to date assholes?
Oh, Lord.
I'm starting to think that all black women just want a guy that won't give a shit about them because that's what they love in their eyes. Am I wrong? Just point me in a general direction. Wow. Is this true that all black women just want to date assholes and jerks?
Awkward silence.
Crickets.
I'm tired of questions getting referred to some people of color.
Yo,
I mean, to me, that could transcend to anybody. I mean,
yeah.
there's plenty of women who date who they want to
idiots or whatever, a-holes or whatever.
Yeah. Well, they want your answer.
Well, okay, I got this. To answer your question,
Yeah,
kind
Roxy.
sir, I'm not sure where you're calling, where you written in from because you didn't include that information. And for all the people that plan on, having the whole Dear Roxy, just let us know. You don't have to let us know your address because if you put your address on there, I'm gonna put it on the air. And if we don't like it, we're gonna email you or mail you or show up at your house. But no, we're not gonna do that in this situation. My take on this, yes, you're wrong. There's many women out there that like black, like a good man. Who wouldn't? That's silly. Who wouldn't want a good man? Like, ask yourself that question. But now I have a question for you. Do you always have this issue? Like, are you actually meeting the same sort of person, the same kind of person that's making you feel unappreciative or unappreciated or whatever the case may be? And you want to know what? I hope you're not the type of dude that's jumping on a black woman, hate black women.
There's a lot of that going on right now.
That seems to be trending nowadays, and it like literally makes my skin crawl. So I want to just say to you, like, if you've answered yes that you're one of those kinds of people, then I seriously suggest that you dig down deeply into the pit of your soul and figure out why you keep on attracting said person, and perhaps you should try looking for love in other places. Perhaps, there's a lot of males out there that might be interested in you. You might want to go on that ad if you're going to be acting funny and acting like, all black women are the same. I have a lot of friends and a lot of people that are happy and well-to-do, so to speak, and whatever you speak of, my cipher, my clique don't move like that. So you might want to either get a psych, maybe you are suffering from mental illness.
Let's get to, T3. Hey, let's get your perspective. White chocolate. I mean,
White chocolate.
Have you dated the sisters before?
Yes, I certainly have. I've been with the same black girl for the past 10 years.
Wow.
Talk to me. On fire.
Like the jerk aspect, to me, I think it's about the woman's aspiration to grasp the unattainable. And guys who, what can I do? What can I do? Like, they can be nice, but they can actually be too nice. And they get walked all over, and they wonder why they're not respected. You just don't respect someone who kisses your ass. So the guy who's acting like the jerk is like, wow, I can't even face him. So they start, what can I do? He's the one. They just want to land the fly guy. The guys fly, and he's fly like jets. They want to land the fly guy.
So wait. Wow. Okay, so wait. So you're saying that this young man who wrote his letter, his problem is that he sets himself up for failure by being too nice. He gets kicked over. It's not a black woman thing. It's just a human thing. People
being
just
kicked over thing.
Yeah, and when you're a dick, the women just they like the male rooster.
Well, the cock.
The cock.
I mean, sorry, grandmother.
Well.
However, but I beg to differ. I like a guy that's very nice. I like a guy that isn't afraid of expressing who he is and letting me know what it is. There is no problem with that. This particular jerk, no, you're a listener, so I can't call you a jerk. Yeah. But I apologize in advance. It's the Ashante. Cheers to everybody.
Maybe he has a mental illness.
I think so, and then he certainly wants to stay tuned for the next segment of our show. That'll be befitting just for him. So,
but you
this show is
suggest
for
that
you.
your suggestion for him is that maybe he tries to find a black man.
He needs to find a black man because obviously if he's into black women and they're doing the same thing, then maybe a black male would be better suited for him. But I'm gonna sip this tea
to play Xbox with on the weekends. And
dear. And then they can play. No, we can't say that. This is a family show. You know what I'm saying? But anywho,
family show. You didn't call this man an asshole and suggested that he get with another man. What kind of family is this?
I apologize.
This ain't TGIF family.
No, when the people just came from church.
Yeah.
You can't be having them feeling all unsanctified. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. So, have y'all been actually listening to what's going on in the news today? I want y'all to look at Roxanne Roxanne on Facebook because I did put up a few things on there about what's actually trending for the week. For, basically what I want to talk about. First things first, I want to make mention of this particular young lady who decided that she wanted to be, bout it on her thug life mess and try to slap a guy
on the train.
Well, let me just say, She first started out by slapping this dude's cell phone because he decided he wanted to videotape whatever debacle that was going on the train. Slapped his phone out of his hand twice. Maybe she noticed he had the otter box. Not that I want to be, publicizing the otter box.
Otter
Like,
box, you owe us the check.
money. You owe us a check, dude. But, maybe she realized that, I could slap his phone out of his hand because people love their phone. You know what I'm saying? So I know it's not going to crack or whatever the case may be. But she ain't stopped there with the 2 slaps of his phone and knocking it on the floor. She decided that when the other guy says to her that she's a bum bee, she wanted to go upside his head.
With a shoe.
Is that what she
She hit him with her shoe. She took off
Is
her
that what she
shoe
did?
and hit him with the shoe.
I got a story about taking off shoes and hitting somebody with it.
I think
Park Place, but we ain't gonna go there.
I think all black kids were raised like that. Your parent grabbed the closest thing to him to whip your ass. That's what I believe.
I'm sorry if I've wronged you.
I might have gotten hit with a shoe before, a slipper.
I saw the clip on the news. I didn't see a shoe.
I didn't see a shoe too.
I
think Six Starboard is making stuff up.
Well, she actually got charged with felony assault because she used the shoe when she hit him, which made it felony assault.
Who shot you?
Oh, wow. Well, I guess if somebody can throw a shoe at the former president, then
you remember that?
You're not exempt
Tell
from.
me GW didn't have mad.
Yeah.
His reflexes was on point, right? Which is true. But let me go back into this. Now, let me just give a brief overview of Homeboy that actually lays hands on her. He's a minor league pitcher, and not only is he a minor league pitcher, he's from DR. So we've got to keep in mind that people from DR, they're capable of catching balls flying catching balls at 110 miles per hour with their bare hands.
They learn how to play baseball. They actually get a broomstick and they fill it with what's it? They get a bottle
Cement?
cap. No, they get a bottle cap and fill it with clay and use that as the ball and the stick as the broomstick. So when they come to the States to play baseball, this is like, like hitting a planet with, a 2x4 for them.
Exactly. That's nothing. A regular baseball is just ain't nothing. It's a chip off the old block and ain't nothing to them.
She really didn't know who she was messing with.
She didn't know who she was messing with until she felt that smack. He pushed her wig back with that smack. He pawed her.
They used to call him Crazy Jorge. Now they just call him Stick Man.
but a lot of people, you know what I see came out of this? A lot of people are now starting to say, like, what are the rules as far as putting hands on women?
Yeah. Okay, you want me to tell you what the rules are? I have 3 sons, and I tell them, if a chick touches you, warn her. Everybody deserves, I'd like to say 3 strikes, but sometimes you might not make it to the 3 strikes because a chick is very much capable of knocking a dude out. I'm just saying. I've seen it happen too, and we're not talking about y'all AG chicks. We're talking about chicks that look like me that's into the straight business that, could just pack a powerful punch. You understand what I'm saying? I remember, let me just case in point. I remember one day my son went to school, my eldest son, and when he came back home, the buttons for his uniform shirt and pants were popped off. These girls attacked him. Now, I understand the shirt buttons being popped off, but how your pants button get popped?
Maybe it was
Y'all know that's different type of stitching.
Maybe he had on a La Tigre shirt. Hold that tiger. Hold that tiger.
Listen,
we're showing our age
but we
on
do.
here.
I know, right? I went over my head because y'all know I'm 20. 25. Ask any of my kids, they'd be like 25.
In cat years?
In cat
Rawr,
meow. No, we got a meeting after this. But like, seriously, I really want to teach my kids respect. I do teach them respect. I teach them like to not touch women. They've never seen mommy in an abusive relationship, and I don't want y'all to be the ones that are abused. Ladies, stop touching people, because I already informed my children that if you guys touch them, to knock the block off of you. Straight up. Y'all remember freaking Jason when Jason took over Manhattan and the black dude thought he was about this life, and he got his
whole dome. He roofed
it. He straight roofed it.
Wow.
I'm gonna encourage them to roof y'all domes if y'all touch them. But that's a whole different story. A whole different topic.
So what's going on in the Roxanity news? What else?
Well, another thing that I'd like to speak about is Kimmy K. Now, you know Kimmy K, meaning Kim Kardashian. I love her. Actually, I had a dream about her the other day that we were hanging out and I was at a gala and I was providing input. So Kimmy K, if you hear me, I'm your number one girl and I've got some input. Pause for that ass.
Inputs or implants? Which one?
Ooh. Anybody that know anything about implants, come call me. I can't. But anywho, there's a paper magazine actually has a coverage of her where they're showing her rump, and I just want to give
her rump. They showed everything.
Yeah, because they did show a frontal view that I did see. But I want to give a shout out to Chris Robinson because he said her rump looked like Krispy Kreme glazed donuts, and you're kind of right. Even though I think some of that was kind of all.
Can I ask you though, as a wife and a mother, do you think that there was anything awkward about her doing this?
Well, you might want to say, well, can I ask you, as a ratchet wife and mother, is anything wrong with that? And if you're asking that question that I just pretty much said, no, there's nothing wrong with it. But as a classy mom and a classy wife and stuff like that, I don't think you should do it because that means your little girl, Northwest, Blue West, Southeast West, she's got to see that. And you just want to do things that are going to make your children proud. Like, seriously, you don't want... I mean, when you're younger, you can't help it because you're making mistakes, you're making choices, you're living and you're learning from your mistakes if it ends up being a mistake to begin with. But at this particular stage in her life, I think that she shouldn't do it. Kanyeezy, yo, dude, what's good?
Like, how does he feel about knowing like all these guys in America took their iPhones to the bathroom and
for real, we already saw.
He's used to it. Ray J was up there like this. I mean, like
flashing off up all on that.
You know
like,
what? When you put it like that,
right?
There's nothing that on there that we didn't see already. Well,
if that was your wifey, one thing, kind of, sort of, but that's your wife. You put a ring on it. You dig? You put a ring on it. Like, come on.
Once I put a ring on it, I do not want nobody sees the goods but me. I'm on some Osama bin Laden Muslim shit. 3/4 of cloth.
3/4 of cloth, never showing your shit.
Show off.
But what if she took that nudity all the way to the bank? Because you know she got paid.
You know I'm about being paid.
And I'm just trying to say that pay that she made helps to actually stabilize Northwest, you know what I'm saying? The whole family.
Violin lessons.
I mean,
what's that, T3?
Really good plastic surgeons are not cheap. That is expensive. There's no other way she's going to see a return on that investment if she didn't go nude. She want to see that money back. You know, she's going to put it up.
You know what? That's a good point. Yeah.
Money work for yourself.
That is true. That was a marketing ploy.
Absolutely.
I spent $1 million on this body. I need $1 million back, right?
All right. Anybody that knows any great plastic surgeons?
Why, you plan on taking it off?
I want to throw some D's on it. Pause. You dig what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, Kim K, I'm not mad at her. I mean, it is what it is. And like,
but did she have pasties on the nipples?
No, she did not.
That was just what they put on, like, the
television.
But if you get the full,
censorship.
You get it. Yeah, that was the censorship, the little blurry
aspect of things.
But you got to see what Ye
darn that Greg and Rosanna in the morning. I need to go to the YouTube.
I'll send you the link, buddy.
All right.
And pause. You know. Hey, let's keep it clear. You know, a lot of girls be acting like they like me and stuff, which is fine. You know, Roxanne loves everybody. You know what I'm saying? But I don't get that like that. But she did look good.
But let me ask the guys in the house just a quick question, and then we'll move to the next segment. Is it really that tantalizing when we know that it's not real? I mean, because her behind looked ginormous, and I'm like, okay, but that's not really you. So can we really appreciate it when we know it's not?
Hands don't lie. It may look like it, but it doesn't feel the same. Like, hands don't lie. So
I'm with T3 there.
Yeah.
I dated an augmented woman before.
Yeah, augmented.
Yes, augmented, and it was not. It wasn't the same.
It wasn't supple.
It looked great at first,
nice.
right? But then when you start to like,
it wasn't supple.
Handle it, you're like,
or
this is
spongy.
not. Yeah,
it was like, would you please pass the jelly?
Yeah. For real.
The jelly.
You got some for real. I'm sorry if the girls like their bums does not, you know, whatever. But anyway, back to the Roxanity portion of this. I want to just put y'all on to something. I read this article regarding the KKK starting a new chapter that promotes diversity. Yeah. According to the Daily News, reformed white supremacists John Abar wants his new KKK group called the Rocky Knights, pause, to be a more diverse group in which they will not discriminate against anyone. So when we say discriminate against anyone like gays, blacks, Hispanics, anyone that's not like Aryan Nation, so to speak, or whatever the case.
They want us to join.
Yo.
I mean, didn't Dave Chappelle do a skit about that? About being a black white supremacist?
Clayton
Down,
Bigsby.
yeah. Down with the niggers.
See, I don't even find this shit funny. However, a lot of people are saying that he's actually doing this because he's trying to get some political ground, possibly to run for some type of political office in the near future. I think, y'all want to know what Roxanne thinks?
I do.
Like, hear it? Here it goes. I think that maybe he's in the closet. And he probably knows firsthand what it is to be discriminated against. And now he knows what we feel, meaning we as a whole, you know, for whoever the Aryan Nation people don't like. So I think he's on the down low, y'all. What y'all think?
I think you might be right.
He's packing the fudge.
Because you know,
somebody put him out there, and he's like, yo, and they straight deaded him in the community. He's not able to go to the country club no more.
Right.
They're like, yo, dude, you out of here. He was like, you know what? He was plotting. He had his pen, he had his paper. He was like, you know what? I'm gonna start a new chapter.
You know what? I have
Rocky Nights.
Rocky Nights, and they
have a totally different take on that.
What's that?
Because it's like a half a dozen to 1/6 of the other. Because
I love when you talk dirty.
Because the KKK, thanks. Because the KKK are a bunch of white supremacists running around with white hoods over them, and then in the black communities, they wear hoodies. And then in these not even Trayvon Martin. I'm talking about wearing hoodies and committing these violent acts. Because usually when a brother puts his hoodie up, if it's not cold, usually he's about to do something. He doesn't want to show his face. So I mean KKK, black, young black, insane brother in the hood wearing hoodies. I mean, I don't know.
It's a little peculiar, but I just want to let y'all know, what's that river out there in Minnesota, by the wherever he's at? Y'all just know that if he says, listen, Rocky Nights, let's go barbecue, just know that your ass is going to be the dinner. So you might want to think about that twice.
Come on, niggers, let's go out and have a barbecue out in the woods. We're going to have a picnic.
Yeah, exactly. And then freaking stew your ass. So you might want to think about that twice. Anywho.
So, I see we have somebody just join us in the studio.
Hello.
Right now we have in the house Farrah Hayes, LSW, and she's going to be talking to us about our topic. And our topic is going to be titled, coined. What is it coined?
Get your mind right.
Get your mind right.
Yo,
get your mind right.
You got something for them people to get their mind right? People who need to get their mind right?
Going insane, got the brain. Alright, y'all. This is Roxanne's Roundtable, and today I would like to talk about mental illness. This segment, like I said, is called Get Your Mind Right. Everyone knows someone in the community right now who's suffering from some sort of mental illness. Today I have Farrah Hayes, as I said before, a licensed social worker, here to give her take on mental health. Welcome, Farrah, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
First and foremost, I want to ask you a question. What is mental health? What is mental illness, and is there a difference between the two?
Yes, there is a big difference.
Please expound.
A mental health is the actual technique and finesse behind what you're doing, behind your counseling, behind your talk therapy, behind meeting the patient and assessing them. The very, very, very multifaceted person. Mental illness is the actual illness: schizophrenia, major depression, PTSD, so on and so forth. So there's a big difference. One is the finesse. One is the actual illness.
Let me ask you, just off the sidebar.
Nice.
Well, it's not a sidebar, but are you able, just based on your professionalism and your expertise, to just be able to identify if you see someone that comes into your office, per se, and they seem a little distorted, are you able to identify between the two?
Yes.
Rather mental illness or mental, what is the
Yeah, one
mental
is the
health
profession and one is the actual diagnosis.
Gotcha.
But yes, I can look at somebody and tell possibly
Automatically.
what they have. Yeah. What
Okay.
diagnosis.
I'm not trying to be funny, but how do we distinguish between a weirdo and a person who's suffering from mental illness?
That's my question.
Yeah, usually there's no difference, unfortunately.
I figured that. Check.
Take a look at the subway. If you walk through the subway or you see a man, pushing those carts with the empty bottles, and they're wearing slippers, an overcoat, a sweater, jeans that are rolled up, and it's about sub-zero weather. More than likely the person is a schizophrenic. Unfortunately, what people don't understand is when a person does not display appropriate clothing for the weather, that's actually a mental diagnosis.
Can I just say
Usually
one
means that
thing?
They're schizophrenic.
Uh-oh.
I've noticed, like this summer, I was like literally, y'all know I'm a thickums. I'm standing outside, the sun is way too hot. Sweat is, my sunglasses were steaming up. Sweat is dripping down my face, and I see this lady come by with a freaking long ass down coat.
Yeah, crazy people
All
always
black.
wear
She was
winter
layered.
coats in the summer.
She was layered, and a friend of mine, and six, I think you and I discussed this. We were like, do they not know how to differentiate between hot and cold? Like,
No. They do not understand to differentiate. They could sit right here and see that it's cloudy, and they could say it's sunny. They could say it's raining. They don't have the capacity to understand it.
But
No.
what about feel it? They don't feel that
Yeah,
I'm
hot.
fucking hot. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm hot.
so when I have my
as-
bra
No,
on, under
it
my breast, I'm
depends.
sweating.
It depends on the kind of
No?
No, it depends on the kind of hallucinations they have.
Yeah.
Depends on what's present in their mind. They see the world. We look at it from here, outside going in. They look at it inside, outside coming back into them, and whatever they see is what they perceive to be real.
Is that something that you're born with? Because you said hallucinogens. Now, I'm automatically thinking Molly. I'm thinking of
Acid.
angel dust,
Right,
acid.
That's a temporary fashion. That's something temporary. Sometimes people say, you take a little, you take some Molly or whatever, and you trip off. If you trip off and it becomes a permanent thing and a permanent diagnosis, and this comes long term, like in years to come, you see a psychiatrist and they say, look, you're going to need this for life. It means that more than likely you were born with it. But if you have a trip for 6 to 8 hours, 14 hours, it's you weren't born with it. It's not biological for you.
So there is a biological aspect. Would you like to, when you say that, what comes to mind, like the New Jack City era? And I have often spoken to my kids about the New Jack City era, where there was like the Pookie phase,
Right.
where people were using heavy drugs, which was crack, or whatever the case may be, and those crack addicts eventually had children.
Right.
So do you think that the mental illness or whatever mental illness can actually be concocted per se? I may be using the wrong term,
Well-
but those babies that are born,
Right.
even though we know that they're going to have all sort of developmental delays and
Right.
so on and so forth, do you think that that's something that actually
You
can...
mean like a possibility that they're gonna take crack and they're gonna become?
No, not meaning that. Do you
What?
like the crack mom who's pregnant using crack with their unborn baby? When that baby is born, of course, they may have some sort of developmental delays. But do you think as life progresses for them and the older they get, that they may experience some of these mental illnesses that we're talking
It's a
about?
possibility. It's a possibility, along with other comorbidities, other diagnoses.
My goodness, that is extremely sad.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Now, what about the people who I believe that everybody is crazy, but
To an extent, yes.
to an extent, we're all.
You have to be to deal with the world.
But the people who appear to be normal,
Yeah.
I hope they're not listening, but there's a lady on my block, right? She appears to be normal,
Yeah.
but I'm like, she's a hoarder. Her house is full of junk. She has 20 cats. She smells like cat piss. You know what I mean? And garbage. And she lives in garbage. And but she goes to work. She goes to church. Lives a normal life.
Right.
But to me, I'm like, I think she's crazy. She has something wrong with her brain.
She does. She actually does.
She may just be cheap, not want to pay rent.
Maybe lonely, right?
Yeah.
The
Rent
cats
is
are her only
expensive.
friend.
Yeah.
Premium.
For her, it's probably not a actual, because there's a differentiation. There's a serious mental diagnosis, and then there's some people that kind of like, I would say like PTSD. They go through something in a certain era at a certain time because something happened. You may experience death of someone that's very, very close to you, and you just, Freudian, you're just stuck in that phase. You know, you just can't get out of it. And without some talk therapy or some, you know, emotional support or group therapy maybe, whatever works for the person. Sometimes I think that's what's going on with her. I don't think it's something that she's born with. I think it's something that she's having a hard time getting over.
So mental illness can be temporary.
Of course, yeah. PTSD. Another thing is temporary. Yeah.
So
Can you give the acronym for that, please?
Post-traumatic stress disorder.
And what is that? What exactly is PTSD?
Like I said, it's you have somebody very, very close to you that died, and they, you can't get over it. You know, you're having a trauma. It's something that happens after a trauma, and you're kind of stuck with that for a little while until you get that emotional support you need,
Gotcha.
Whether it be professional or informal.
It's funny that Six Starborn has mentioned, like, you know, functional. I was going to say functional crackheads, but that's not what I meant. Functional people that, you know, functional people that are exhibiting some sort of mental illness. They're in the workplace.
Yep. Yes,
They're in the workplace. Now, I don't know if she's listening. However, I remember the other day. No, this was a few years ago. Like, yeah, more fire. I just happened to ask her one day, like, hey, let's just name a name. Give me a name, please.
Jane.
A guy's name.
John.
How's John?
Jay.
And she says to me, oh, he's fine. Then she went to my friend, Diamond, you on blast right now, and was like, Roxanne, she asked me about John, and she know John done broke my friend, my daughter's heart, and did this and did that and did this. And I'm like, yo, I just happen to just be seeing you willy-nilly. You know how you make small talk? Like you haven't seen a colleague in a month of Sundays, and you're like, hi, hey, how's everything? How's your family? How's John? And she spazzed out, you know what I'm saying? I'd like to refer to her as a wackadoo, but I always thought of her as crazy. And I'm like, yo, she's definitely one of them, but there are so many people that are in the workplace that are bugged the hell out. And you don't want to like try to take offense to anything that they said. There's this one bugged out one, the one I would like to refer to her as the bearded lady. She likes to call me 42nd because I love wearing over the knee boots. Bitch, you crazy. You know what I'm saying? But again, there's a lot of people in the workplace that you have to deal with, and sometimes you don't really know how to deal with that because you don't know how to recognize it. Yeah, you'd be like, oh, she's crazy. And you don't know how to pretty much you don't know how to deal with it. How do you deal with such thing with, you know, people in the workplace? Like, seriously.
It's just one of those things because, you know, it's the workplace and it becomes very difficult to assess a person, especially if it's your coworker. You know, there's boundaries and there's rules and there's policy that you can't say, hey, I think you need some help.
Yeah, because your ass could go to the, what's human
resources
resources behind that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Hold on one second, guys. I just want to bring in somebody. We have Joy Williams, psychiatric nurse.
Yes.
And she couldn't join us here in person, but she is on the call, and I'm going to bring her in right now.
Hi, Joy. Thank you for listening. Thank you for... Oh, I'm sorry.
Joy, are you there with us? Joy?
Hello.
Joy Williams.
Joy, this is... There you go. Hi, Joy. This is Roxanne from Roxanne Roxanne. Thank you for calling in, girlfriend. How are you today?
I'm good. It's Sunday. I love Sundays.
I like Saturday nights because I like to turn up, but we ain't going to go there. Joy.
Yes,
go ahead.
I'm here.
You have a question?
Oh, no, just bringing it up to speed. Just to bring you up to speed. We're just sitting here and we're just talking about...
I can't hear.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Can you hear us, Joy?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Awesome.
Okay, awesome. Just bring you up to speed. You know, we're talking about mental illness in the community and mental health and mental illness in the community. Can you just give us a brief background about yourself real quick and what you do?
That's your cue, Joy.
I can't. I just go blank. I don't hear anything.
I think she only hears Roxy.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, what we want to do is first we would like to introduce you. Well, we've already done the introduction, but we'd like to ask you to give us a little bit of background on just what you do, if you don't mind.
Okay, well, I work at a psychiatric hospital. It's Rutgers University. So we basically take care of inpatient, outpatient patients, usually patients that come in. It can be for various reasons. Like usually they come in at nighttime from the emergency room or from the police stations, and we have to evaluate them and to determine if they are in need of psychiatric care or if they can be released. A lot of times it's drunks, and they can be medicated and released.
Wow.
A lot of times it's people who didn't take their meds and they get caught up in
They
all
cracked
types
up.
of things. You can only imagine.
Wow.
And once they're on medication, then they can be released, or some people actually need to stay for about 7 weeks.
7 weeks, is that effective though? Like real talk. Let me just give you a case in point. You know, I've got a story for everything. I have this guy, you know, I live in the queue, and I realized, you know, because I do outside work with the Department of Mental Health and Hygiene, and you know how you're able to observe certain indicators. And this guy, I guess he must like me, you know, I guess I'm cute and shit, but he really has become quite obsessed with me. And one time he left like a discharge paper of him being in the G building in Kings County under the windshield wiper of my car, letting me know that he was back. So, like, in a situation like that, you know, from what I understand in terms of his history, like, he was a very bright dude. Like, he was like an Ivy League student, so to speak.
Most of them are.
Yep, okay, an Ivy League student. And what happened was, since he's a big, burly guy, something happened where they tried, like, some thugs tried to rob him, and they pistol whipped him, bust him all up in the head, which TBI is something that can affect, can cause this whole mental illness thing to set in. But he went bug foo after that. And that, I guess I became his prey, where he'd ring my bell, and like I'd go to the supermarket and my kids would be like, the crazy guy. They know him by name. One day he flashed me. I thought he was coming to shovel the snow around my property and stuff like that. And I heard him rambling and stuff like that. So I thought that he had like a Bluetooth in his ear. And I was like, huh, you talking to me? He was like, yeah, I'm talking to you. I was like, oh, okay. And he flashed me. But in a situation like that, when you say like the 8-week program, so to speak, like what are the factors in terms of like when you keep them? How do you know when to keep them? What are the attributes or the characteristics?
Well, they have to obviously pass, they have to clear a psychiatrist, they have to be on their meds for a certain amount of time, and we have to evaluate them to see if they can actually function in society. It's all based on them taking their medication. I've seen patients that can function in society, are geniuses, can run corporations, but if they're off their meds, it could be 3 days, and they're completely different people. So it's all about the medication. It's all about the medication. It's unfortunate that they have to be medicated like that, but it's all about the medication. If they miss a dose, like day by day, you can see them deteriorating. It's just,
that's
it's
crazy.
all about medication,
Farrah, you wanna say
unfortunately.
something?
Yeah, it was.
This is Farrah Mehays. She's an LSW, so she also works in this particular field. Joy, just wanted to bring you up to speed.
Definitely social workers, definitely.
Hi, Joy. What I was thinking of as you were talking is that I know you said they can run businesses and it's 7 weeks they have to stay there, and you want them to you have to be assessed to take a certain amount of medications, right?
Yes.
The kind of medications that you give in a psychiatric hospital, I've heard a lot of patients come to me and tell me, you know, they want me to take all of these medications, and they do feel that it's too much. They feel I mean, everybody's gonna say they don't want to. I don't like to take medications either, but they say it caused them not to function. It caused them to be more debilitated than anything else. It makes them very, very sleepy. They can't function. You know, they can barely walk. You know what I mean? They feel like they can't walk. So, I mean, what are your thoughts on that? Do you ever have anybody that's like a repeat?
Oh, definitely. We definitely have repeat offenders, as we call them. We have some people.
Wow.
I was gonna say that, but she just came
trying to be politically
correct.
Gotcha.
So, do you have anybody that actually say, you know, I think you drugged me up too much?
Oh, definitely. That's definitely. But I believe that it usually occurs in the first phase of their treatment. I believe they're very tired. It's kind of like they're it's like they have to be weaned off and then like put back on drugs. So they're very tired, and sometimes they can't function. And most of the side effects for all of the drugs are being lethargic and you're just tired. It's like you're put into a depressive mood, but certain events that you do, games, just activities,
right,
brings your spirit back up.
Yeah, that's the thing, because once you're placed back into the community, you're lethargic. You're feeling these type of things. I mean, I know you said it's early in the treatment, but I gotta say I do have patients that leave and say they still feel that way because the psychotropics are just too much. It's just too heavy. The dosages are too heavy.
What are tropics? Is that like the medication?
Psychotropics are the medications.
Psychotropics. Just to bring everybody up to speed.
A lot of side effects. Like some people can't walk, like she said. Some people hands tremble. It
brings on other things. It brings on other symptoms.
I know a lot of people have told me that they feel that when they're on meds, that they're more crazy on meds than when they're not on meds.
Yes,
so then they don't get on their meds. So now you have these people just walking around the hood that are just
they're just
like
way off.
crazy.
Yeah.
But they're like, I'm even worse when I'm. But see, we look at them as crazy when they're off their meds, but when they're on their meds, they feel like they're crazy.
Yeah, they're still crazy, but it's just minimizing it. That's all it's doing.
It's
but
that,
even if someone's
also,
anxious, if you ever really think about it, when you have anxiety, like you're very, very anxious, and then you start taking anti-anxiety medication, and you feel like you're not as anxious, but it's like you're more anxious to take the medication to stop the anxiety. So it's kind of backwards, but that's the only thing that keeps them from not killing themselves, killing you, killing your family member. It just keeps them sane. So sometimes you have to look at it like, would you rather have a crazy person and they're tired, or a crazy person that's running around with the axe trying to kill you?
You know what?
And that's the next thing. Yeah.
I've got to ask you a question. And since you ladies are both professionals in this particular I don't want to say industry per se, but why is it like taboo in the black community? Have you guys noticed that? I noticed that.
Oh, definitely. Most of my patients, I don't. It's not that I really have black patients, but they're just not as prominent as any other race. I believe it's because black people tend to self-medicate or blame it on something else. Like they don't, unless it's schizophrenic, unless it's an actual disorder where it's just obvious. Like you're just not functioning. One day you're Suzanne, next day you're Becky. Like that's just obvious. You need treatment. But a lot of black people that are depressed or bipolar, they just feel that, one day I'm angry and one day I'm happy. So they just feel like, okay, something's stressing me out. So, I'll have a drink and then, I'm happy the next day. Yeah. And so they just think it's something that they can control, hence, the street drugs.
What is what is the family support like in the black community? Have you guys noticed anything? Do our families support our other family members that are suffering from some sort of mental illness?
No, not at all. Because I think
you're the
once
crazy
again, I
family
think
member.
black people feel like you can get over it. Like, why are you going to a therapist? Why are you crying?
Or you can go to the church.
Go to church.
Go to church.
They be like, you got the devil is in you.
You need to be anointed with the anointed oil. Go to the church.
T3 will tell you, even T3, right? What they tell you, right?
I have a very physical, tangible approach to mental health.
Tell.
For me, it's about getting plenty of exercise, sexual activity, and having your money.
More fire.
We mentioned that because usually when my money is funny, y'all gonna see me acting some kind of way. I'm gonna let y'all know that off.
When your money is funny, you'll have
funny,
your long coat on in the summer,
and my shotgun underneath that damn coat. Waiting for somebody to say something stupid to me because I'm mad, I'm angry. You dig?
But I noticed though in the black community that the answer to everything is,
church,
you just need prayer, you need Jesus.
Anointed oil.
And if something is wrong with you, it's because the devil is inside of you because you were sleeping with him and her and him and that
you
one.
Get your
and
mind
you gotta
right.
get right because until you repent, you're just gonna be crazy. Yeah. And that's and then that family member gets pushed in like the closet, like we don't acknowledge them anymore.
They get placed into the back room, locked in the basement.
I was just saying that, enjoy that they've. No, but seriously, the one that you be like, yo, why your uncle be acting like that? Yo, he's crazy. Just leave him the fuck alone.
He was in Vietnam.
Exactly. Leave him alone.
Sometimes you'll have a family member that'll tell the truth. Be like, you know, his mother was out there in the 80s and in the 70s.
They was out there. New Jack City era, for real.
Right. You know, he's a crack baby. Yes, a lot of times we don't want to admit that.
That's true. Or PTSD. Hello. But let me ask you a question. What are some of the treatment options, please? I'll start with Farah.
Well, for me, I would say I am not a lover of medication right away,
Neither am I.
unless it's a severe mental disorder, schizophrenia, major depression, bipolar, 1 or 2. I'm not a lover of it, but if it's one of those, I would say seek professional help from a psychiatrist so they
That's
can.
where Joy comes in.
They can.
That professional individual.
I would definitely.
I am not a lover of it. If it's something like anxiety or even PTSD, I would want them to start with some talk therapy and some group therapy. Group therapy for me because it shows you that other people are like you. You know, you're not that stigma. You know, it's okay, and people that you can relate to. The reason why I lean more towards medication for people who have a severe mental illness is because it takes about 2 weeks to 2.5 weeks just to begin to work. So by that time, you know, it's tough. So
Joy, what's your take on that? How what are the treatment options?
Well, I agree. I agree if it's something as far as like depression or anxiety, or like she said, PTSD. I think those conditions, you can go to a therapist. You can talk it out. You can exercise. You can. Sorry, my 3-year-old popped up. You
That's
can
all right.
you can just go and you can talk about it. I think those things, if you change. I'll say 1 second. If you talk about it and you can get through it. But I think disorders as far as like schizophrenia and like a manic bipolar patient, like you definitely need inpatient and you need to be medicated. Some things, drugs will work and it'll get you through it, but some things it's that demon in your head that you have to talk about it, and you don't even need drugs. You can just get over it as long as you talk about it and get it out. So I think the treatment options vary. It depends on the person.
I want to just say we're going to open up the phone lines. If you'd like to just add your input or your take, you can call us at 347-721-3161, 347-721-3161. But that is so true, ladies. Like, you want to know what? I mean, when I'm being bipolar because my money is funny, I just try to hit my man up, and usually he makes things better. But but it's not easy. Like you said, we all know someone or has an uncle or know someone who has an uncle living in the basement, being all bugged out and crazy. And even in the West Indian community, we just call them Mad Max. We just call them Mad Max and keep it pushing. You know what I'm saying? We don't really say, well, we're going to try to incite some type of therapy for them to get better or to resolve whatever it is that they're going through, or try to, have someone prescribe some medicine. We just leave them be, and they just be walking up and down the road being all bugged out and crazy and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Before we wrap up, though, I just want to say the brother Victorious walked in the room.
Yeah,
and I just wanted to get his take
What's your take?
before we get out of here, if he had anything to say about the topic at hand.
I go to therapy. I go to therapy. So.
You go
Black
to therapy.
people, it's okay to do therapy. It's
okay. Can you tell us about
when I could afford
It's okay.
therapy.
Can you tell us about your experience?
Well, first time I went to therapy, I was about 8 years old. I tried to kill myself, so threw me to therapy.
I'm glad you're here.
Oh yeah, I'm glad. All the ladies are glad I'm here, but basically. But after that, like when I was about 14, I had, I guess, whatever issue. So my mother had sent me to therapy. You know what I'm saying, as a way to, I guess, wash her hands from certain things. And I didn't go. Like I would say I forgot, or whatever. I just wouldn't go to therapy. And it wasn't until I was 19 that I was doing bad in school. And I was looking for an excuse, like why I ain't doing my work, whatever. And so
it was like a cop out.
Yeah, like I remember Theo had dyslexia, so I was like, man, maybe I have that. Hopefully I get whatever. And they came out, but they came out with like,
He was wearing Gordon Gartrell to school, like, Mom,
right. But I ain't had dyslexia, but they just said all these different depressive things or whatever, and they wanted to give me medication, and I was like, I ain't want to do that. And I went to therapy, and it was cool to talk to somebody who didn't know me, you know what I mean? And I just talk to them, tell them anything, and they can judge me, but they can't really say nothing to nobody, whatever. And 15 years passed, no therapy, probably should have went. And a couple years ago, started going, you know what I mean? I do hypnotherapy, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's dope. Yeah, I like to get hypnotized. Yeah.
Hypnotized.
Yeah, so I only do regular therapy. I do hypnotherapy. Yeah.
Is that real?
You got something for that too?
No, it's real. Hypnotherapy works. It works.
Like they dangle the gold chain in front of you like you are getting sleepy. You are getting sleepy.
No, we're not, and we're not poking fun.
No,
let's
but-
just be clear: we're not poking fun in any sort of way. But you know,
That's how they portray it on television.
I know,
I don't know
exactly.
anybody who went through.
Well,
exactly. So that's why we have someone here in the studio that can be able to clear the air.
And did it work? That's what I want to know.
There's no gold chain.
No, you don't smoke weed, right?
There's no gold chain.
The wine glass in my case.
They just, they talk to you. Like, hypnotherapy is different than hypnosis. Hypnotherapy is like a half an hour just regular therapy to get to what's the root of the matter, whatever you come there for, and then they tell you to relax, breathe, whatever, and they just start talking to you, and you just go into like a trance, pretty much. I don't be barking like a cat and nothing like that, or a dog, you know what I'm saying?
Dressing or disrobing?
I wouldn't know, but basically, when I get out of the,
I don't be afraid that someone's gonna take advantage of me because
all my therapists are pretty.
Getting sleepy.
My hypnotherapists be pretty.
Is that the one that look like Broomhilda?
Nah. Like,
Curly, the ones that
I've
be
had
stepping in
two.
your back and shit, looking all.
What happens at my session stays in this session.
Yeah, but but pretty much, it does work. It does work for me.
It works for you.
It's expensive though, and that's why a lot of times in our community we can't really afford it.
GHI.
That's the thing. That's why black people be like, that's another expense. Like,
I need to put some pork chops in the freezer.
So I think Joy, are you still on the phone?
Yes, I'm here.
All right. I think we should just end off with your final thoughts and then Farrah's final thoughts. Just to kind of surmise, your resolution for mental illness.
If you feel some sort of way and you can't talk about it, then you need to report somewhere and get treatment, because I turn on the news every day and I just look at faces and I'm like, if only they reported and they asked for help, this could have been avoided. All you need to do is talk to somebody, and there's so many facilities out here. There's so many people willing. They get paid very well to help you. So just seek the help that you need.
And how can we promote?
Don't think that it's a stigma like, oh, you're going to be the crazy person. No, we'd rather know you as a crazy person than a person that we have to use our tax money to support you while you're locked up.
Joy, can we ask you a question? Farrah, can we ask you a question? If a guy catches his girl cheating, like if he walks into the house and he sees his girl getting thugged out by some guy, would that be considered mental illness if he decides to kill him?
Like if he has history, he can probably get off on that. If he has history,
if he doesn't have history, then what?
No. Let me tell you.
Anybody that's capable of killing have some sort
of
No.
First of all,
issue.
anybody who has the capability to kill is human nature. If you're a human being, you can kill. I was in the military.
Right,
I can make anybody. I can make you into a killer if I wanted to. It's easy. It's inside of you. I just have to bring it out in you.
Can you make me into one?
Of course.
Yeah.
I'm hungry. I'm about to kill a burger later.
Because you kill to live. You know what I mean? But my thing is this: a lot of times when you see people who are killers, or who are depressed, a lot of people who even depression. Perfect example. Like, you're like, oh, this person's depressed. They have depression. This motherfucker's. Oh, I'm sorry.
Grandma's listening.
Sorry, Sister Vi. This person's mama died. Their dog died. They lost their job. Their wife left them. Their kids hate them.
They got AIDS.
And then they found out they got the virus. All types of things happen to them. And then they're like, oh, you're depressed. You're not depressed. You have a right to feel this way.
Exactly.
You
It's
should be
human
sad.
emotion.
If you weren't depressed, then you would be crazy.
Then that means you're
there's
crazy.
something wrong.
That's one of my theories. If you're depressed about nothing, then you should really seek some help. If you're when I say nothing, if it's just something little
everyday life.
There's dust on this table. Oh my God, you should seek help. But if something happened, your wife died, your baby died, whatever, something happened, I would be more worried if you weren't reacting. Yeah. I would be wondering, you're out of space.
There's short depression and there's long-term depression.
Right.
If something happens, it's expected. If your husband dies, we expect you to feel a certain way for a certain amount of time.
Every right.
But in 6 months, if you're still depressed and you're losing weight and you're not eating.
Well, some people take 5 years. But my people's Joy.
Yes.
Farrah, I want to thank y'all. Vic, I want to thank y'all for coming in on the show. If you guys or my listeners would like to ask any particular questions, I'll get the answers for you. You can hit me up on Twitter, Roxanne and the number 1, ROXANNE, ROX the number 1. Instagram, Roxanne Roxanne NYC. I mean, hopefully y'all know how to spell that. ROXANNE, ROXANNE NYC. Facebook, Roxanne Roxanne. Any questions y'all have, hit me up, and I'll be more than happy to get back with y'all, in response. If y'all have anything y'all want to ask me in terms of, Roxy, you need some advice, because I'm good at giving advice. I'm not good at following them, but do as I say, not as I do.
And fellas, she won't hypnotize you and take your clothes off and disrobe you.
I'll try not to, because platinum, Joy, platinum, Farrah, Joy, Vic, T3, white chocolate, E-Boogie, 6-star Starborn. You know who I am, Roxanne Roxanne. Thank y'all for listening. T3, take us out of here.
Radio, the online radio blueprint.
Turn down.
What? You too much. Did you take something before?
I did.
I'm so not used to you like this. Not used to you like this.
All your wine. Where's the rest?
No, it's okay.
You ain't bring no food.
I ain't just come out. New Beyonce, 50 Shades of Grey.
DTF Radio, the online radio blueprint.